she'll be like, "Oh yeah, we know you a spoiled brat. Everybody know. We just wait for you to come to the realization that you were." And it's not that I didn't know, because I knew that I had, like, I want what I want when I want it. I really do. But can you really have what you want when you want it? If you're supplying it for yourself, you can. But are you truly gonna be happy in it? Right? Because if you want a mate, if you want somebody to come in, you got to understand that you got to give that person what they want every once in a while too.
Back YouTube with Many Reasons here, the #1 world's podcast with your host Kaylin.
Cam right here. And then we also, YouTube, have very special guests. We're going to let them introduce themselves to y'all.
I'm Jamila Naila. Glad to be here.
I'm Misty. What's up, y'all?
All right then, and now I'm about to lead us into our first topic today.
Hold up 1 second. YouTube, we're so sorry. We know Sean mostly be here, but he had things to do today. So it's not just me and Kaylin for today, but he will be on the next one. Just let y'all know, YouTube. Back to Kaylin.
All right then. So what our first topic is, and I'm gonna read this off, and this is gonna be mostly for the ladies. So whichever one of y'all want to start off, and then me and Campers will jump in. Ask how, not like that. So how much does discipline play in the role of a woman choosing a man?
It plays a huge role, because as a woman, even, like, I'm speaking as a woman, but even as a man, nobody wants to be with someone who has no discipline in their lives. So if I'm going to choose you as somebody I see as a potential mate, I want to know that, because some people, they're disciplined while they're around you.
Okay.
It's just like when you're raising kids, you're going to discipline that child. So that way I know when you go out into the world, I don't have to worry about you acting a fool and me getting a phone call or me being embarrassed. And that's even more with a man, because I don't want to be here. I am thinking I'm your woman, but you out here in the streets and you doing this and you doing that. And then I'm looking like a fool at the house because you ain't got no discipline about yourself.
Okay.
But not even just in that aspect. Like, are you disciplined enough to read your word? Are you disciplined enough to pray? Are you disciplined enough to get up and go to work? You know what I'm saying? Because we were truly raised, a man that don't work don't eat, because, baby.
So discipline is multifaceted. It applies into everything. Okay. So now that you acknowledge that, since discipline is multifaceted, it plays into a whole bunch of factors that we're just not going to list because it's a lot. Which one is the most important? Give me top 5.
Top 5.
Or at least top 3.
Okay. So in order to be disciplined, for me, honesty comes into that.
Okay.
That's top tier, because I can't deal with you if you can't even be honest.
Yes.
And give me the opportunity for you to tell me the truth in every situation and let me respond how I'm going to respond. Don't try to control that.
All right.
So first of all, it's honesty.
All right.
Second of all, you got to be disciplined and active in employment. And not saying that you have to be making all of this money. You just have to be, I'm going to get up. I know I have a family. I know I'm trying to provide for somebody. Yes. So I have to be disciplined in getting up and going to work. You ain't got to like your job. Yes. Half of us don't like our job. But, baby, we like to eat. Yes. We like to have shelter.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Right. And I'm not all that disciplined in my food. But once I get to a certain weight, like, no, baby, we got to go work out, do something, cut something out. So you have to just be disciplined in your thinking process. Yes. For me, because it's like, let's just gonna get real. We all put on weight sometimes in our lives, but at some point you get to a point where you look at yourself. Nobody should have to come be like, hey, baby, you need to lose some weight. Yes. Yeah. Because I'm gonna be pissed off. You come tell me I need to lose some weight. I might know I do, but don't be telling me that. Let me come to that realization on my own.
But see, I don't mean to cut in, but see, you already acknowledged it, because, and let's give credit where it's due, YouTube. You, in your own mind, already addressed what you seen as the problem before anybody else even had to. Right. So then that takes a level of, like, self-preservation. Like, dang, I don't like this, so I need to do better anyway. Most people don't even get to that aspect where it's like, no, I'm not going to address me. How dare you? Yeah. No, we don't do this. We just do what we want to do. So that's actually really good.
And I'm silly anyway. So even if I had somebody and they was like, oh, girl, you done put on some weight. Boy, I know, right? Why you didn't tell me last week? So we sitting over here taking this picture, and you know I look like this, and then I get the results of the picture and be like, oh, no, I got to do something. Because I don't want to look like that in my picture. That's why I'm like, y'all, YouTube, if I got too chin, let me know. Because you know what I'm saying? I need to go back to the gym. But I know that. I'm clearly aware of that. But you know, you have to be aware of who you are. Nobody should have to tell you things about yourself because it's you.
Self-awareness.
Right. If nobody else knows, you should know. You know what you got going on in your life. You can lie about it, but you got to even be disciplined in that area. Like, I know I got areas I need to work on.
Yes.
Now, do I want to be told? No. Nobody really wants to be told, oh, you have this issue.
Yeah.
But I'm going to appreciate you telling me more versus saying nothing.
Okay.
Especially if we're trying to build a future together.
Yes.
Because
What's your third thing?
my third thing, let me see, on discipline. If you got children, discipline them. Okay? Because this is the thing. You'll have people that come into a relationship, and yes, children are people. They have their own opinion. They can say things. But don't disrespect somebody that comes in my house. If you do not like them, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to. But you will respect them. And a lot of people have to be disciplined, even disciplining their children. You can't just let kids go out here and run them up. That's how we got Karens and people like that now. Because sometimes you have to be disciplined and minding your own business.
True.
Because everything does not pertain to you. Yes. But like for me, my kids, no, it's going to be some discipline where I believe firmly in the rod. Whoop them. Because sometimes they need it. Yeah. That don't mean beat your child. Yeah. But you don't let little Jimmy go, Jimmy, whoever, come in your house and knock everything off the table. Because guess what he's going to do when he gets in public? He's going to go knock everything off. Yes. You can't go to anybody's house. Nobody's going to want you there because they have no discipline. Yes. So,
kids, even though we got discipline, we always used to break things and people did not want us over their house. YouTube. So trust, we understand that story 100%. Yeah. But Ms. Jamila, give us your overview of discipline and how important it is, and then give us your 3 things.
For me, the angle that I want to come from, that I use personally in my life, was being patient. Okay. And so having the discipline to just wait on somebody that was really worth my time. Not letting loneliness put me out there to just accept anything, because it's like, you know, now I'm tired of being alone. Lord, are you going to send me somebody? And not only that part, but just having the discipline to get to know me better, to know what I want, what I'm going to accept, what I'm not going to tolerate, and to have that discipline to walk away from it and not be scared to just be by myself or, you know, be single, because it's like this negative connotation comes with that. Oh, you're single, don't nobody want you. And I had to really reprogram myself, because it was to the point where it's like, dang, am I like that? But then it's like, you know, I don't have to be single. I could be with anybody, but it's like, who am I choosing to be with? Because I can be with somebody just to say I got somebody, but you lying to me. You treating me horrible. You cheating on me, but I got you. So
technically you don't got
you. Exactly. So having the discipline to just know my worth and stand on it no matter what anybody says or, you know, the negativity out there that can just make you second guess yourself. So that's my main thing about it. And then I guess the top 3 would be, like she said, honesty. Like, that's first and foremost. I cannot be with somebody I cannot trust. So if I can't trust you, it's nothing, because now you're stressing me out. Right. So you're not going to come stealing my peace because I can't trust you. And then that turns into me being insecure because I don't know if what you say is true. You're lying. I don't know. So that's the number one thing. And then I guess the second part would be somebody else having the discipline it takes to get to know themselves, so you have a clear understanding of what you want. Because if you don't know me, you can't, well, if you don't know yourself, you can't know me. So that part. And then I guess the third part would be just having a level of integrity about yourself, where, you know, you have principles and values and morals that you just not gonna go for anything. And so I don't want you to play about yourself. Don't play about me either.
Okay. Definitely don't play about me.
All right.
Right.
I like that.
So, okay, from a man's perspective, what you're asking for is not like a whole mountain hill.
It's not.
But in today's society, where do you think their discipline is lacking at? Not just from what you're saying, because we already know a lot of people ain't honest, a lot of people ain't faithful, a lot of people be cheating. So it's like, Where do you think we need to begin to where we can reconstruct that back in society?
Well, first of all, we got to come back to a place of honesty. Like she said, if you can't be honest with yourself, there's no way possible you can be honest with me. Sometimes we have to actually sit down, look at ourselves in the mirror, and recognize who you are. Like, we all have issues, we all have hang-ups, we all have things that we have to live with and we're working on and we're dealing with. But be honest enough with yourself to say, I know I have this issue. Prime example. I come to the realization that I might be a little bit spoiled and I might be a little bit of a brat. I come to the realization, I know that God is working that out on me. Okay. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I want what I want, how I want it, and I want you to say it how I want you to say it. But that's not reality. Yeah. Okay. Like, everybody's an individual, so I can't. What a lot of times we do is we have these conversations in our heads, and I've already had this conversation, so when I have this conversation with this person, I'm expecting them to say what they said in my head. Baby, that's in your head. Come out of your head and come and live in the real world, because everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own feelings. Everybody has their own thought process. But you have to get to a place where you know who you are and you respect a person enough to have their own opinions without it moving you. Because it has nothing to do with you. That's their thought process. But if we internalize everything that somebody says, then we're never going to, like she said, you're not going to know who you are because you keep internalizing everything else. But your opinion and your feelings and your emotions has absolutely nothing to do with me.
Which is true. But then, I mean, I'm going to caveat off of that. So y'all both basically did self-identity, right? But then that means there is a problem with identifying yourself. Your identity. A lot of people might live in this, they think who they are, but they're really not who they are. You see what I'm saying? Everyone has an identity to themselves. Everyone has a conceptualization of what factors into them that makes them. But then, right, that means that some people are not living in the real identity that they have. They're being somebody that they're not, and that's why things aren't moving the way they're supposed to move. Do y'all think that's what people are doing today?
Well, that goes back to, like we keep saying, honesty. You got to be honest with yourself. And in my opinion, I feel like a lot of people, especially with social media and the term follower, you're literally following someone else. You're being influenced. So when you make a decision, are you just going through the motions because someone else is doing it, or have you put thought and intentionality into, everything you're doing? Why are you doing this? Because this person on the internet said do it. Do you think for yourself? Do you even know how to think for yourself? Because, you start with your parents telling you what to do. And then once you get to a certain age, you are in full control of yourself. But some people mentally don't grow to that point. And it takes you, like, we get to know who you are without all the distractions. And for me, it was actually me moving here when I knew, because I came here, I didn't know anybody. I was here by myself. And a lot of times we are so afraid to be alone, where, like we just talked about, you just with anybody to say you got some company. Not knowing that maybe you need to be by yourself to get to hear your voice and what it sounds like, and to understand, your thought process, how you are in a situation without any influence. And once you are able to do that, it's like empowering. It's life-changing, because then you're able to pinpoint, okay, you a distraction. You don't align with what I'm trying to do, so I can clear you out the way. And the things that are supposed to be for you, they gravitate towards you. It's like a clear path to everything.
And I'm a pivot there. I'm a pivot. So you said so you can hear your real voice and know who you are. Sometimes that can lead to condemnation because some people don't like who they really are.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you don't like who you really are, you're going to put on a different identity, right? So then you're living in the false. So how do we speak to them?
But then, as they said before, you got to be honest. Sometimes, especially with that, sometimes you got to tackle yourself. Some people don't want to tackle themselves. Some people don't want to be honest with themselves.
Wrong. There are some people in life right now, because two things can be opposite and true at the same time. Death and life are happening right now at this very moment, which means then someone is living their life in the false identity that they created their entire lives. So speak on it.
So you asking us to, how can we help them?
That's what I'm saying, because they're both saying be honest, which is true. But with someone that do not like yourself enough to live in a false reality and identity that you cannot accept who you really are, then what do you say to them?
Well, this one, I'm going to speak from me personally. when you come to know the Lord, and I don't know if everybody do, but when you come to have a relationship with God, the Holy Spirit, like that condemnation, when you get to realizing the condemnation is from the enemy. Condemnation will have you feeling bad about a situation and it beats you up. Conviction has you feeling bad about a situation and makes you want to change that thing. You know what I'm saying? So the Holy Spirit in you will say, that's not even true. Like, you're beating yourself up about something. That's not even true. Who told you that? Because that's a lie of the enemy. But like she said, you got to get to a place where you can sit. Let me tell you something. The greatest commodity you can ever have is peace. If you come and disrupt my peace, baby, you got to go.
I respect that.
And if I'm telling you that the things that you're doing is disrupting my peace, if one or two things going to happen. If you truly love me and care about me the way you say you do, if I tell you the thing you're doing is disrupting my peace, you're going to change that.
Okay.
If you only care about you, and I tell you this ain't disrupting my peace, and you continue in it, that lets me know that you have no respect for me whatsoever.
Right.
Because people that you love, people that you respect, that they say, this thing you're doing is bothering me, it is hurting me.
Yes.
You're gonna go sit with yourself and be like, help me to not do this to this person, because that's not who I want to be. I don't want to hurt me, so I don't want to hurt you.
Yes.
And I like when she said about the influencer. Who is influencing you? So many times we open up social media and you're being influenced. And so often what you're seeing is not even true. You're living your life based on this facade, right? You don't know what's going on the background. So you're trying to live your life to be like this person. You don't even know who you are.
Yeah, true. That's what I'm saying.
Ain't that what he said online, King? You don't even know who you are. Go find out who you are. Find out where you come from. Find out what's in your bloodline. Because some of those things is because you said something, Lord forgive me, I forgot what you said. But a lot of things that's in our background and in our bloodlines is causing us to do things now that we can't even figure out, why am I doing this? So you have to you got to go sit with yourself. I'm going to say with the Lord. If you know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, go sit with him. Because first of all, your first identity is in Christ. I am his. Once I realize, and like she was saying, once you get to that place when you realize who you are, what I'm going to accept and what I'm not going to accept, when I come to realize that Jesus is my Father, the Lord is my Father, baby, you can't treat me like that. You know who my daddy is? He don't play about me. And when, a lot of people say God don't play about me. What God? What God are you talking about?
That's good.
Because the one I know, he most definitely don't play about me. How I know that, I read it in his word. How I know that, I see that. How I know that, I even see it when sometimes I do stuff with my kids. If I get on to them about something and God showed me real quick, I don't play about him either. You right. You right. He'll check you real quick and I'll be like, oh, yes, Lord.
And then, especially what you said, there's something I want to speak on, because a lot of people have a negative connotation. There's nothing wrong with being by yourself at times. There's like, sometimes when you find peace when you're by yourself, you get a whole different perception of life, especially about yourself. Sometimes you have to stew in yourself to be like, hey, there are stuff about me that I don't like. There's stuff about me that I do like. There's stuff that I need to work on. There's stuff that I think, okay, I might need to tackle this first. Let me go get this first. Yeah, being by yourself can sometimes brighten up your creativity. It's like, you know what? I'm not good with money management, or I'm not good with this, or I feel like my friendships are this. But who's the common denominator? You.
Right.
You are the common denominator in everything that you talk to, touch, and everything. So sometimes it's okay to be by yourself. Not for too long. Not for too long. But I'm not saying in relationship-wise. Sometimes you being by yourself, the enemy can creep in. He'll be like this. He'll be like, hey, man, look, you've been by yourself for a little while. You know you're going to stay like this. No. Maybe I'm just doing a different thing. Maybe me and God just moving this way.
It's for a season.
It's for a season, not for longevity.
Yeah. And then, like, I'm going to just piggyback on what you said. It's like, even if you go to a job and every time you leave a job, you have the same complaint every single time. Is it the job? Or is
it you? But our whole conversation has really been surrounded by self-awareness. I know everyone noticed that. Yeah. Yes, you do. And a lot of people, I don't think, are self-aware enough in society, because you see on the social media, oh, it's them, or it's them, or it's them, or it's them. And it's like, when are you going to take accountability? And maybe you're the problem. Right.
And then you have people sitting back looking at them like, nah, baby, it's you. But do you have those people in your life that will say, no, it's you?
Right.
Like my sister, my friend, she'll be like, oh yeah, we know you a spoiled brat. Everybody know. We just wait for you to come to the realization that you were. And it's not that I didn't know, because I knew that I had, like, I want what I want when I want it. I really do. But can you really have what you want when you want it? If you're supplying it for yourself, you can. But are you truly going to be happy in it? Right? Because if you want a mate, if you want somebody to come in, you got to understand that you got to give that person what they want every once in a while, too. And you ain't always right. I'll tell you I am. I know I'm not. But I will say I am. You know what I mean? But I am, when I say I'm fully aware of who I am. So when somebody comes and say, Misty, you da-da-da-da-da, if it's the truth, I accept that. But then, if you don't know me, that's your perception of me.
Yeah.
Once you actually truly get to know me, then say that we'll come back to that conversation. Okay. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people, you know, when you go through life, sometimes I'm like, oh, I thought you were this, and I thought you were that. But that's your thought. Thing I didn't do with me. But if you wanted to know who I was, you could have came and got to know me.
Right.
But I'm not going to be sitting here concerned and caring about what you thought about me. That's your opinion. And you're more than welcome and entitled to it, boo-boo.
There you go.
You hold on, okay, before we go, would you have anything else that you would like to add to that?
I just want to say that. Like, God, dog, you too. You see what I'm saying?
No, I agree with all of it. It's like we've all been saying, you just really have to develop a strong relationship with yourself. And, you know, like she was saying, once you have your own personal relationship with God as well, that's going to help guide you and get you to that point where you know who you are. And I think you were the one saying about some people don't even like themselves. And, you know, when you get to the root and start to question yourself, why am I like this? Why don't I like myself? What happened to make me feel this way? And even when you were talking about, you know, your history, your ancestors, how did you grow up? What did somebody talk to you in a certain way? Did you experience this as a child? What did you see your parents do? How does that affect, you know, how you show up, how you interact with people, your tone of voice? You know, I had to realize, like, my tone can be off, but I get it from my mama. She talked to people crazy. And so I know I have an issue with that. So I have to, you know, try to be a little more softer. Some people, you know, they hear a tone and they automatically think aggression or you're angry or mad, which, like you said, if you don't know me, you would think that. But when you know me, that's just a tone of voice, and it's just because of how I was raised and the women around me and how we talk to each other. So it just take a lot of just looking in the mirror and being honest with yourself and telling the truth with who you are, why you are, and don't question nobody else. Question yourself, and you'll get to the bottom of it and answer the questions, because it's not easy. It's hard to just be like, dang, I'm a messed up individual. What they say about me is right.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even know we're doing that thing. Like you said about the tone of voice. Sometimes you don't even know.
Yeah.
Because I say something to somebody and they'll be looking crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? Well, you say, but I'm the type of person too. This is me. If I have said something to offend you, tell me now. Don't wait 3 months later, because when you come 3 months later, I'm like, girl, bye.
Can't read your mind.
That was 3 months ago. So why did you stew on that for 3 months? If we're in a present conversation and I said something that makes you feel some type of way, check me. Because I'm going to check you.
My feelings back then. Like,
Right.
It don't help me now. Because
Right. And then I have no clue what you're talking about.
Right.
So I'm like, well, but I'm still sorry that I hurt your feelings. Now, this is me, and I'm not going to say this always right. If I said it, 9 times out of 10, I meant it. I didn't mean to hurt you by it, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And you know, some people don't want to hear the truth, and you said the truth, and then you're offended by the truth. Well, I can't help that if you're offended. If it's the truth, it's the truth. I gotta accept it. Does it feel good all the time? No.
Yeah.
No. Sometimes the truth hurt. It really do. First time I got called a spoiled brat, it hurt. It did.
It'll set you free, though.
It will. You'll get free, and you'll live a better life.
Which is true. But YouTube, I think our first segment with our invitees that we brought on to you, I think that was a really good segment. We're going to close it out, and then we're going to get to the next episode. But y'all stay tuned, YouTube. Peace. We're out.